Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, if you're an XRP holder, listen, we're going to be talking about XRP consistently multiple times throughout the week. We are looking to be gathering the XRP army and to be making consistent XRP videos. So make sure to join the channel, become a sniper. Listen, latest XRP rallied 12% to $2.56 as 11 ETFs from 21 shares, Bitwise, ProShares, and others appeared on the DTCC website, with analysts predicting the first spot XRP ETF could launch this week. Absolutely amazing news, right? Very, very huge news. We've been for the last couple of years, we've been getting teased with the whole lawsuit thing for some time. It was coming to an end, and there wasn't, and there's delays, and then this happened, and then boom, right? That was the big thing. After the lawsuit pretty much was done and dusted, ETFs, XRP ETFs were the main spotlight in terms of news. And we can see, right? We have 11 ETFs prepared, and one could be launching this week. So this would be the huge shift in momentum because we know a lot of liquidity would be coming into the XRP, crypto. A lot of more exposure, a lot more news, a lot more global adoption would be happening. If you guys are not familiar with XRP, I pretty much just call it the bank coin to make it simple, right? We have a lot of institutions that are backing this crypto up and are involved in this. Literally hundreds, like literally hundreds. So yeah, I just call it the bank coin. And at the end of the day, you can go against XRP, you can be for XRP, but it is going to do very, very well this cycle. Okay. I'm just going where the big money is going. If the big money is going with XRP, then logically it makes sense to go with the big money because at the end of the day, they're the ones that move these markets, not someone like you and me. We can see XRP outperformance continues. So we can see XRP has outperformed a lot of high key cryptos. We have Bitcoin up 1.15%, Ethereum up barely anything, XRP almost up 10%, and Solana up 1.6%. When we go and look at the total, we can see we have overtaken BNB, which is not a surprise. The fact that BNB was above us in a way is a laughing stock. The fact that BNB is actually number 5 and number 4 if you take out USDT is actually kind of crazy when you really think about it, right? When you really, really think about it, it's kind of crazy. But look, XRP is pretty much a top 3 crypto. We're not going to be counting USDC or USDT, sorry. And yeah, this thing can very well overtake Ethereum this cycle or even next cycle. It has way more scaling power than Ethereum. Ethereum is just kind of like it's just a crypto that's been here longer. It's just a crypto that has a lot of already adoption and it's just gonna do well each cycle. But at the end of the day, there's nothing special about Ethereum. Like literally, there's nothing special about Ethereum. I'm not even joking. Okay, I'm not joking. So yeah, we can see Ethereum is second, but I wouldn't be surprised if XRP in the future would be the number 2 coin. Will we ever overtake Bitcoin? Probably not, just because Bitcoin is the head of the house and has such a big lead on us, right? It's up over, like what, 12, 13x on us. And that's a lot, right? That is a lot, even with a lot of adoption coming into the markets. Listen though, right? We are up roughly, 5% on the month. So lots of sideways movement, but a little bit upwards for the month. In the last week, we have gone up 9%. And in the last day, we have gone up almost 10%. So we can actually see that a lot of this momentum has actually really happened over the last day. Okay, over the last day. We see, right? Boom, once again, multiple places, potentially with another listing for XRP, the ETF listing that is, right? We obviously see we are on Binance, Coinbase, and etc. I would not expect anything different. We can see we're up a lot in volume, 6.26 billion in volume. The market cap is also really, really doing well at 153 billion market cap. We can see people are looking at XRP. People are starting to respect XRP. And just know, generally, I will be doing a lot of XRP news content. I generally will be doing a lot of XRP news content. This one's going to be a little bit of a 50-50 one today. We will be talking about the technical analysis. Overall, we can see a few things. First off, I see multiple key swing zones. We have one over here. We have one over here at 334. Boom, like this. We go down here. We kind of have a double top at roughly $3 to 312. Okay, boom. So these are our key swing zones. We could see when it comes in terms of pure structure, right? We did have a support down here, right? We had a support that tapped multiple times at the 275, 275, 275, 275. All right, a little bit lower technically by 1 or 2 cents. Who really cares? And then we can see we broke in momentum. So even though we are going up right now, we have to actually really reclaim this zone of 270. Right, this is the main zone we have to reclaim. And the way to reclaim it would be having multiple daily candles a close on or above the zone. Doing something like this. Even if we have a little bit of a dip, that's fine. Something like this, and then going up to take out these key swing zones. Okay, because if we do go up, but we don't take out this key swing zone of $3, at the end of the day, we just created another lower swing zone. Okay, we would create another lower swing zone, which would indicate probably more sell momentum. But yeah, we also will be looking at it from a higher time frame perspective. We can see on the yearly, it's been a solid year. We can see a lot of wicks, right? Last year we had a big yearly candle. This year we have a little bit more wicks. The body is smaller. When we go to the 6 month, right, it's kind of the same thing. When we go to the 3 month, it's been a huge liquidity sweep and a huge imbalance fill, which is what we love to see. We love to see this imbalance get filled. On the monthly, we are still forming consistent lower highs on the monthly, right? We can see we have a high over here. We have a lower high. And even if we were to go to upwards of 276, we would still be forming another lower high. So just be wary of that. Be wary of that. I would not be surprised if we see some manipulation longer term, that like getting anywhere between 180 and 120. Yes, that's a huge range, but that's something we would have to talk about in the future. But just be wary of that, right? Just be wary of a huge potential manipulation wick to the downside. Now, overall, where do I think XRP is going to go this cycle? Well, if you took it even from a Fibonacci standpoint, let's say from these highs to these relevant bottoms, I would say you would flip it. You do flip reverse, do something like this, boom, right? The 1.6 is roughly $6, but that is an underwhelming amount. The 1.6 is usually just the first zone kind of that gets hit. Usually between the 2.2 and the 3.2 is where we would be looking at, which perfectly aligns with a $10 XRP. I think on the lower end, we should be hitting $10 XRP. And on the higher end, we should be hitting upwards of $15 XRP. And if we go and look at it from a market cap standpoint, right? If we were to be even a 10x, $25, that's 1.5 billion. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. But if we were to divide that, that's 750 billion market cap for roughly $12.50. That's more realistic for me this cycle. Now, I don't mind readjusting my game plan, depending on the structure in the future. But just as a prediction, I do think $12 is more than possible this cycle. That is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.